Hey, Tremaine, it's Jay with the Buffalo News. This defense has a lot to be proud of with how it finished the season, number one overall in points and yards allowed. Do you feel, though, that the way that this game yesterday ended, particularly the fourth quarter and overtime, and not being able to get the stops when you needed, is going to sort of leave an impression amongst, fans, media, whoever it may be, about how this defense is viewed?
Well, for one, obviously, the outcome of the game, none of us is happy with it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm extremely happy, for the guys that we have in the room and, the work that each and every one of us put in throughout this year. I mean, obviously, the whole year we had, ups and downs. One point wasn't, better than the other. I mean, it was just it was a roller coaster all year. And just to see the guys stay together, just to see us all continue to improve each and every week and, just continue to get better. I think that just speaks volumes to the guys we have in the room. And, although we didn't get the outcome that we wanted, I mean, it hurts all of us. But, you just can't discredit, obviously all the hard work and all the sacrifices guys put in throughout the whole year. It started with just us. Obviously now it's probably going to end with just us, us believing in each other and us believing in, the work that we put in. And obviously we just got to keep growing. And, the nature of the business, we're not going to have the same guys back probably, but the guys that do come back understand this feeling, understand, the mission, understand what the standard is, and continue to work and get better.
You're the guy that makes the calls for this defense. I mean, how do you explain what happened in those last 13 seconds? I mean, was there miscommunication? Were guys out of position? Were they on the same page? I mean, what in your mind happened there?
Yeah, I mean, we executed. It's just unfortunate, situation that we were in, and things didn't go our way.
The team exercised your contract, your fifth year option, so now you are, I guess, heading into a contract year. What, if any, early conversations have there been about a possible extension? Is that something you'd be interested in? Is that something that has been discussed with the team at all? What, just kind of where do you stand in terms of your, short and maybe long-term future here?
Yeah, right now, obviously my mindset my mind is just on, obviously what happened in the game. So really haven't been in conversation about that.
Okay. Thanks for your time, Tremaine.
Hey, Tremaine, John Worrell with the AP. It seemed to be a theme over the course of the season in how, can you pinpoint how the team as a whole had difficulty winning one-score games? You guys, went 0-6 this year as opposed to going 6-1 last year in games decided by one score. And it wasn't just the offense or the defense; it was the offense too. Can you pinpoint what might be the issue there?
Nah, I mean, things just didn't go our way. Obviously, we prepared throughout the week for them to go in our favor. Guys do the preparation, guys put the work in. But, unfortunately, many times this year, they just didn't go our way.
And just the last thing, the overtime rule, just any, given the fact that it's the playoffs, I mean, is there any sense or a belief that teams should get a chance to respond, especially given the gravity of what's on the line in the playoffs?
The rule is the rule right now. All we can do is go out and execute and, in particular in our situation, find a way to get offense the ball back. But, the rule is a rule. We just got to, just abide by it.
Fair enough. Thank you, Tremaine, and try to enjoy the off season.
Hey, Tremaine, can you speak to how much love there is in the locker room and the bond that you guys share?
Yeah, we got a great group of guys. A great group of guys that care about one another. And we don't stick with one another. That's just the type of guys we have here. Coaches as well. In good times and bad times, still, understand that this is a family. understanding the hard work it took to get here, and just continue to stay by one another and uplift one another.
Do you worry at all about how this roster will change in the offseason, knowing that you guys felt that you had the championship caliber team this year?
Honestly, that's something that, I don't have, control over. Obviously, just the nature of the business, we're not going to have everyone back. But, I'm not in control of that. So we just have to see how that goes.
All right. Thank you. Have a great offseason.
Tremaine, I know that there's still a lot to process from yesterday's game, but when you look back from the start of the year up until this point, how can you best encapsulate just kind of how everything played out as a team this year?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough year. I think each year is going to be a little bit different. We had a lot of roller coasters, a lot of ups and downs. We went to a point of the season when a lot of people was rooting us out. They didn't even expect us to be, at this point now, or, where we were at yesterday. A lot of people were ruling us out, counting us out. But it just took the effort, and the resilience from the guys in the room to just keep fighting. And each week, we just kept coming in, believing in the process, trusting one another, and we just kept fighting. And, obviously it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but, got to take the hat off to the guys for, continuing to put our head down and grind.
I know that you're on the defensive side of the ball, but you get a lot of opportunity to work against Josh Allen during practice, and you get the chance to watch him a lot on the field. Last year was sort of his breakout year in 2020, and some people question in terms of whether he could carry that over into 2021 and not be just a flash in the pan. What do you have to say about this year from Josh and just how he's grown in 2021 and building off of last year's success?
Yeah, as we all know, he's a big time player. We're lucky to have him on our team. You just see the work that he put with, behind the scenes, just the work he puts in into the building and practice, just seeing him go out and make unbelievable throws and just being able to extend the plays and just give guys opportunity to make plays on the ball. And, just setting guys up to make big time plays. It speaks volume, and he's just going to continue to keep getting better. Obviously all of us trust him. And, I'm just excited for him.
Thanks, Tremaine.
Yeah.
Hey, Tremaine. I was curious now, I know it's just moving on from yesterday and all that, but how do you feel like this season went personally for you? Like, how would you assess how you played?
I think each year, when you hold yourself to a certain standard, there's always more. There's always a lot more that you could do. And that's, personally how I feel about myself. Still a lot more I can learn from. Still a lot left out there for me to do as far as getting better, as far as me developing, as far as just everything in general. So, that's what I'm going to take into this offseason, just continue to strive to get better. Learn on things that I know I need to get better with, be truthful with myself, be direct communication, with, my coaches and just, see areas of improvement and, just hit the ground running with it.
And then larger as a defense, you guys have talked a lot about that idea of having a chip on your shoulder and knowing how people talk about you and all that sort of thing. After last night, how do you keep what happened? Do you think about that during the off season, like how the season ended with the defense on the field? Is that something you think about, or do you try to not focus on that? Like, how do you approach that?
I think our philosophy is, we always going to approach each and every day, each and every year, as that underdog. We always going to have that chip on our shoulder. Because that's just the type of guys that we have. Nobody is, happy with, staying in one certain spot. Nobody is comfortable to staying in one certain spot. So we always want to approach it with that chip on our shoulder and, just with the urge to get better.
And then one last one for me. I'm just curious, obviously, with Leslie getting a few head coaching opportunities potentially and all that sort of thing, what has he meant for you as your development as a player? Just what is your relationship like with him, and just what has he meant to you personally?
Yeah, he's meant a lot. He's, got a ton of respect for him. So it's exciting that he's, getting these opportunities. He's helped me develop, into a good player. And, like I said, I have a ton of respect for him and, happy for the things that's coming as well.
Thanks, Tremaine.
Maine Savage, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports and Eddie, man. How you doing today?
Good. What's going on?
Hanging in there, big dog. Yesterday, I just think that it was just an offensive battle, man. You know, on both sides of defense, you just throw the defense out of the equation the way red hot both of these offenses were. But just give me your overall assessment of yesterday. You know what I mean? Just your thoughts on yesterday's game.
I mean, you know, it's just, you know, it's kind of hard just speaking about it. You know, obviously, you know, just finding a way to get stops, you know, defensively, you know, in those critical times. But, you know, I don't think you could just take one player or two players out. You know, obviously, it's a 4-quarter game, where in that instance, 5-quarter game, including overtime. And you just got to find ways to get stops in those critical times. And, you know, obviously something we'll learn from and, you know, continue to get better.
Now, and speaking of learning, year 4 for you, what have you learned this year 4, that the first 3 years didn't teach you?
I think each year teaches you something different, or if not the same stuff. It's just each year is going to be different. So really adversity, obviously as a team, personal, you know, you go through adversity, you go through battles, you go through things that's hard. And I think that brings out the true character in a man, to be able to look yourself in the mirror, be able to look your teammate in the face, and, you know, just be truthful with one another. You know, we're in that business, and, you know, holding each other accountable. I think that's what, you know, makes up a good football team. You know, being able to trust the person beside you, knowing that you're going to get his best and you're going to give him your best, and being able to just to be truthful with one another. And you know, there's a lot of learning points that you can get from it.
Now, with that answer you just gave me, it goes back to the question I asked you about Coach Frazier about if it don't challenge you, it won't change you. And the answer that I got from Coach Frazier was, you know, going through adversity. And it's okay that, you know, to go through that. You feel that, you know, in life, you know, you're going to go through adversity, but how do you handle that, you know, moving forward? You know, so that was the answer. That was his response I got from Coach Frazier. So I say that to say this. How does yesterday's loss challenge you to become better next year?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely lights a fire. You know what I mean? You know, it's gonna hurt for a while. That's just the reality of it. It's definitely gonna hurt. But I mean, you gotta let it be fuel for the next year. I mean, you gotta, you know, strike something inside of you, just to, you know, use that every time you step foot on that field, every time you step foot in that weight room. Understand the feeling. You know, kind of like we talked about last year, you know, around this time, you know, understand what it is. And, you know, it's going to be hard. Each year is hard. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard again next year. But, you know, we got to start, you know, fast and stay together. I think that's the number one thing, stay together.
Absolutely, man. Hey, it's been a pleasure watching you in this defense ball out this year, getting all the accolades that you deserve. Just make sure you stop at Fat Cats and get that last plate before you head out of here. All right, man, Savage.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tremaine, after what the defense put together this season, what do you think the standard is for this group?
Our standard each year is, you know, just to, you know, be the best. And I think nothing is going to change with that. So that's our mindset, and that's what we're striving towards.
And then how can you make sure that you guys take that next step forward and continue to be the best, knowing that you're one of the leaders in this group?
Being accountable, you know, making sure that we do the necessary things, the small things to, you know, to win these big time games. And, you know, nothing's going to change. We just got to keep, you know, doing the things that we were doing. We got a great group of guys, great group of leaders, you know, to lead each position group. And, you know, we just got to do that.
Thanks, Tremaine.
Yeah.
Hey, Tremaine, you kind of touched on how there's some similar feelings from last year, and obviously it's always going to hurt losing in the playoffs, but what feels different about maybe today versus this time last year when you guys were processing the season?
You know, I don't think nothing feels really different about losing. I mean, you know, when you lose, it sucks. You know what I mean? It's a bad feeling. Obviously, all the hard work that you put in. So, I mean, losing, I mean, a loss is a loss at the end of the day.
We had talked to you guys a lot heading into the season about the expectations that last year put on y'all, and how, when you look back at the season as a whole, do you guys think, you know, you use those either as fuel or if they were hard to go against sometimes. Just what did you make of how this team went against expectations from last year?
You know, I think the only expectations is the expectation we put on ourselves. No matter, you know, what people may say, you got to work. You know, each year is going to be different. No matter what we did last year, no matter what we did this year, I mean, next year is going to be different as well. So we got to approach it that way. And, you know, we just got to come out and, you know, stick together and, you know, take it a day at a time.
Thanks. Appreciate your time.
That's all for today. Thank you, Tremaine.
All right. Appreciate it.